In this video, I'm going to show you 10 phrases that may seem polite, but in reality are actually rude, inappropriate, and can make people uncomfortable without you even realizing it. Hello, I'm Juliana Santiago, and I help you enhance your image, posture, and daily impression. And in today's video, I'm going to show you some common phrases that a lot of people use thinking they're being polite or friendly, but that are actually very rude. Many of these phrases are said with good intentions, but they end up harming communication and the way you are perceived by others. The first phrase is, "Oh, that's easy, you just have to." This phrase sounds motivating. It seems like you're helping, but in reality, it downplays the other person's difficulty. Because what is easy for you may not be easy for someone else. And when you say, "Oh, you just have to," it sends the message that the problem is silly, or worse, that you're exaggerating. And when you say, "Just send the message that the problem is silly," or worse, that the person is exaggerating, whether they're slow or not, they're trying their best. And this shows up all the time in our daily lives. For example, someone says, "I can't speak in public, I freeze," and you reply, "Oh, that's easy, just breathe and go." Or, "I don't know how to use these apps." Then you say, "Oh, that's easy, you just click here and that's it." Or, "I'm having trouble losing weight." "Oh, that's easy. You just have to stop eating and work out." Or even at work, "I'm overwhelmed. I can't handle it." "Oh, that's easy. You just need to get organized." You see, even if you want to help, the person hears it as, "My problem is nothing," and the effect of that is terrible. The other person feels diminished, ashamed, and misunderstood. The elegant way to act is to replace "just" with empathy and partnership. You can say things like, "I understand. What exactly is holding you back?" Because elegance is not about being superior. Elegance is making the other person feel respected, even with any difficulty that person may have. The second phrase is ours, "You look tired." This phrase seems like concern, it seems like care, but in practice, it sounds like a judgment. Sometimes the person woke up earlier, slept poorly, or is simply having a quieter day. And when you make this kind of comment, you put a label on someone without really knowing what's actually going on. This happens a lot at work, in social gatherings, or even when someone arrives somewhere. And sometimes she hasn't even said anything. You know the person? She walks into the room and hears, "Wow, you look really down today. Are you okay? You look strange." Even if the intention deep down is good, the person starts to feel more watched, more exposed. Elegance is not turning a personal impression into a comment about someone else. It's not exposing people. The third phrase is, "Oh, relax." This one is really classic for the person. Many times she's talking about something that bothers her, that worries her, that makes her sad, and she gets a response with a simple "relax." This happens in conversations with friends, couples, family, or even at work. The person says, "Wow, I'm really nervous about this presentation." Then you go and say, "Oh, relax," or "This really upset me," and you say, "Oh, relax, it was nothing." The problem is that this phrase invalidates the other person's feelings. It communicates as if it's not important. Elegance isn't about minimizing. It's about listening without correcting someone's emotions. Another insensitive phrase is "wow." "You cut your hair, I liked it much better the other way." That phrase, it comes up a lot in family settings and at work. The person changes their hair, gets new glasses, changes their style, and here's an opinion they didn't ask for. Even when it comes with a smile, it sounds like criticism. Someone else's body and appearance don't exist to meet anyone's expectations. If it's not a compliment, of course, the most polite thing is not to comment. The fifth phrase is, "Oh, that's just being fussy." This phrase is extremely rude because it completely invalidates the other person's experience. It comes up when someone talks about boundaries or emotional discomforts. The fifth phrase is, "Oh, that's just being fussy." This phrase is extremely rude because it completely invalidates the other person's experience. It comes up when someone talks about boundaries, discomfort, or emotional pain. Whoever hears this feels ridiculed, so never say this phrase to anyone. And if you're realizing how these little phrases can harm your communication and your relationships, take the opportunity to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because here I help you develop a more elegant and mindful attitude in your daily life. Another phrase that is extremely inelegant is, are you sad because of that? Are you crying because of that? These questions may seem like curiosity, but they carry a very strong judgment. They put the other person in a defensive position, as if she had to justify what she's feeling. This happens a lot when someone is feeling vulnerable, and instead of being comforted, that person receives irony or a surprised reaction. Don't make jokes or try to give examples of worse situations you've been through to try to minimize the other person's situation. Each person feels things in their own way. Elegance, elegance. Respecting that, the seventh phrase is a mistake you might not even notice. Wow, you are so skinny. A lot of people say that thinking they're giving a compliment, but comments about the body are never neutral. You don't know if that change comes from health, stress, illness, or something like that, which sometimes the person wouldn't even want to hear about. This also applies to comments like you gained weight or changed a lot. Elegance is not about commenting on someone else's body, much less making criticisms or giving compliments that deep down aren't really positive. Another insensitive phrase is, didn't you want children? That question. It may look like curiosity, but it actually invades a very private space. It can touch on personal choices, difficulties, losses, frustrations, or situations you simply don't know about. A lot of people put themselves in embarrassing situations because they don't know what to avoid in social conversations, and they end up hurting their image in an environment that could open new doors. That's something I cover in my Etiquette and Manners course. How can you communicate better, respect boundaries, and carry yourself with more confidence in any environment? The kind of learning you'll get in the course goes far beyond rules. It helps you become aware of what to say, how to say it, and when to say it, avoiding awkward situations and strengthening relationships. All of this helps improve how others perceive you every day. To learn more, just point your phone at the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to access the website and secure your spot now. The ninth phrase is ours. I thought you were older, or I thought you were younger. Even when there's no negative intention, this phrase almost always causes some kind of discomfort. It comes up in very common everyday situations. At work, for example, when someone finds out a colleague's age and ends up making a comment like this in front of other people. Or even at social gatherings, when someone meets another person for the first time and makes this kind of remark thinking they're being friendly, but actually they're not. Sometimes it comes with an attempt at a compliment like, wow, I thought you were older, you look great, or I thought that. Even so, the comment puts the focus on something that's very personal. Age isn't a neutral topic, and it's rare for this kind of remark to be well received. The person hearing it might feel exposed, compared, or even embarrassed, especially when it happens in public. That's why, if you're not sure how something will sound, the most elegant thing to do is simply not say anything. Elegance is also knowing what not to comment on. Another completely rude phrase is, you're pretty. That phrase, it carries several judgments at once, like if you're single, as if the first one was a problem, or as if beauty had an obligation to result in a relationship. It comes up a lot at family lunches, gatherings with friends, social events, and even in the workplace. Sometimes it comes with comments like, you're so beautiful, so successful, how are you still single? Or like this, you should already be married by now. Even when this phrase is said as a joke, this question puts the person in an uncomfortable position, as if she had to justify herself, explain herself, or prove that she's happy because it's her own choice, you know? And the most delicate part is that you never know if the person is single by choice, because of a recent breakup, or going through something she doesn't want to share with you. Elegance is not about asking questions that expose, pressure, or embarrass someone else. And if you've ever been in a situation where you didn't know how to respond, I invite you to watch the next video here on the channel. How do you respond to inappropriate questions? Just click on the video that appears on the screen. But before that, remember to click the link in the description. Be sure to take our etiquette and manners training. I'll wait for you. Thanks and see you next time.